Hey, everybody.
Hello. Wow, we said that we were done with buffering after dark, but you know what? We lied.
And honestly, I think it's good that we lied because it's good that it was a lie because buffering after dark must ride once more. Quick before soon time will cease to mean much of anything to you. And before that happens,
It's already beginning, Jenny.
my condolences.
It's just training, like I'm training for the future. Little by little, my clocks don't mean anything. My body is betraying me. It just, it's so that it's not a shock all at once.
I think it's good. Just ease on in to the medium end of the pool.
Ease on down the road. Also, I just realized that my space heater is on, so I'm going to turn it off now in the intro for all of you, so you can hear the difference between when the space heater is on and when it's turned off. There you go. Clean audio.
Inside the pod.
So, well, I guess it's appropriate that we're talking about all of the incredible resolutions we've made for this new year, since this is the episode called Resolutions.
Yes, we've resolved. What have we resolved to do? We resolved
to have two babies between us.
And also to never tape at night unless we have to.
unless the universe calls for it.
Do you know what I brought to the party, Kristin?
Oh my God, that is incredible. Jenny's holding up a Diet Coke, and it's a tiny Santa Diet Coke.
It's a Christmas Diet Coke. When Aldrich sees it, he goes, ho, ho.
What's amazing is that probably 40 minutes ago, Avanti said she cracked open a Diet Coke and she said, having a Diet Coke makes me feel like I'm having a beer. And I was like, so Avanti doesn't drink and she's never drank. And I said, I can tell you as someone who has had both Diet Cokes and beers that I do actually support this. I think it is the same level of satisfaction to crack a cold beer as it is to crack a cold Diet Coke. And then I went into the fridge, Jenny, and I cracked myself a Diet Coke. So between the three of us, I don't know if you have any reports on Jess and what she's drinking, but
I'm absolutely confident that there's a 90% chance she's drinking a Diet Coke right now.
Incredible. Drink a Diet Coke when the baby drinks a Diet Coke, like they say.
They always say that.
All right. What do you have to tell us, Jenny?
Well, I was truly delighted listening to your episode when I heard Joanna, you guys were talking about your resolutions, or in 2020, you were calling them intentions.
Oh, God. Making resolutions for 2020 is really special. That's a very magical thing.
Yeah. I think that Joanna's actually was get out of the house more, which is...
Oh,
yeah, it's good. I'm sure that went really well.
Yeah.
But she was talking about the storm, or I guess now it's trial by content, annual renewal of the resolution. Don't fall down.
Oh, right.
You're familiar with Don't Fall
Down.
And I got to listen to Joanna talk about how the previous 2 years, both years, she had failed to keep that resolution in the exact same way each time, which was running up her stairs in her socks with coffee in her hand. As you know, Kristin,
I
do. The number of times I have fallen down my stairs with coffee in my hand there's just too many to count. So I felt...
and I like that for you. It's not just falling down the stairs. It's also spilling coffee everywhere as it happens.
Yeah, just like a huge coffee splatter up the whole wall somehow. But I felt yet another new layer of kinship between Joanna and myself.
You fall down the stairs, Joanna falls up the stairs, and I don't have stairs. So that's... That's the Holy Trinity, actually.
Yeah, that's the three genders. The other thing that I really loved about listening to you guys talk was Joanna like bravely coming out as someone who enjoys Brad Pitt. After you'll get more, dear listener, you'll get more of the context of that within the episode. But it's just really funny to think about somebody being like, it was a long road, but now I'm here.
Do I talk about my Brad Pitt wall in the episode?
Oh yeah, you do.
Great. I just want to make sure.
But that's not news, honey.
No, I've been talking about my Brad Pitt wall. Anybody will listen. I'll tell them a story about my Brad Pitt wall.
Honestly, that was our working title for Buffering the Vampire Slayer. Was actually Kristin's Brad Pitt wall.
Wow.
The Vampire Slayer.
Well, do you have any resolutions? Do you make resolutions, Jenny?
Ugh, every year my resolution is like, do better.
Do better.
You can do better.
Just like feels like a really harsh, like Jenny being harsh to Jenny, No,
not in a rude way. Just in like a...
Not in like a pick up your horse jingle feet kind of way.
No, not like that.
My resolution for 2025 is survive.
Yeah, so that's like kind of a variation on, maybe I didn't say it right, but mine is just sort of like, okay, you know what you did.
Yeah.
You know what you need. You know what you did. And you know where you're headed.
Yeah. Not to be serious, but I was thinking today how, because I can't physically do what I normally do, I've had to slow down. And I, normally a day for me, if we have a recording and that recording is at 2 p.m., well, of course, then I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to take my notes before the recording because I can do it. Even though it is not ideal, I can do it, but I can't do it anymore. And so these last few recordings, I've been more prepared than ever because I actually made time on a different day to do the work and then didn't do 100,000 other things. And one of the things I'd really love to try to hold on to is moving slower, doing less. I would like to do less in 2025.
In the way that you're thinking of it, I can guarantee that you will do less in 2025.
But it will not deliver
you will actually do a lot more.
Right.
It will just be different stuff. And most of what you'll be doing is surviving.
Okay, so stick with resolution 1.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm glad that you liked the episode.
I'm sad that there's only a few more.
2, 3 more. Oh, God. Next week is Betrayal. Betrayal is one of my favorite episodes of the series, actually, which gets a gasp from people from time to time, but I love it.
Can I guess what happens and will you bleep it out?
Yes.
Or does that fall under the not doing less column?
No, I can add. I'll just add one long bleep.
Okay. I feel pretty certain that.
Correct.
But does.
No.
What?
Yeah, it's just like gonna happen in season 2, but then we never get season 2. Well, on that note.
I really have been away. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess should we go now? Go.
Let's go now. Go.
And it stretches way up and way down the whole square. They've all got their eye up on top of this big building here.
What I was thinking is like a New Year's resolution is to stop getting so caught up in my own thoughts. Because I'm like way too introspective, I think. But what if not thinking turns me into this really shallow person? I'd better rethink this becoming less introspective thing.
Happy New Year! You don't hear what we do on our end, but we count down from 5, so it really felt symbolic.
Yeah, I felt it.
Hello, I am Kristin Russo.
I'm Joanna Robinson. My soul is filled with emotional confetti and streamers and champagne.
Wow, what a beautiful sentiment. This is the new year of The Boiler Room and the new year of My So-Called Life. The Boiler Room, if you don't know yet, is a podcast where Joanna and I talk every episode of My So-Called Life one at a time, and we are terrifyingly close to the end.
It's crazy how close we are to the end. This week we are talking about episode 16, Resolutions, which was written by Ellen Herman and directed by Patrick Norris. But we are 4 from the end.
It's getting scarier and scarier.
We're almost done. It's so nuts. When I was watching this episode, I was like, wow. This is nearing the end of some plot lines, and then I reminded myself and looked. I was like, "Oh my gosh, only 3 more episodes." Yep, 3 more episodes. This is it.
Seriously, I know, and it's like now. I think for the first time ever in my viewing of the series, I think I'm more anxious about it ending because obviously it's not just ending as a viewer; it's also ending our whole podcast. And so I've been like really thinking about where these storylines were headed and like what they were setting us up for before they knew they were done in ways that I have never conceptualized before.
Yeah, this starts with the countdown. This episode starts with the countdown and some resolutions.
And we're back in like the era of Dick Clark, which gives me nostalgia because that's like the way that I remember.
Oh yeah, Rockin' New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I think I neglected to say that this episode originally aired January 5th, 1995. But because we're talking about resolutions and New Year's and stuff like that, Kristin, do you have any resolutions? Or I don't like calling them resolutions anymore. I like calling them intentions. Do you have any intentions that you want to share about this year?
And that's kind of my deal too. I don't think I've ever really made a resolution. It sounds so, it's like a little too firm for me.
Right, and then and it sets you up for failure, and then you're supposed to feel shame if you broke your resolution or whatever. And I'm like, come on,
exactly.
We're not doing. It's 2020. We're not doing shame anymore.
Exactly. I think my main intention this year is to give myself space and time to be with myself. And it's sort of like it's not a hard cut for me. It's not like I'm leaving 2019 where I wasn't doing that and like trying to do that in 2020. It's just that something that I like really was able to uncover toward the end of the year last year that was really powerful for me. And so like symbolically on New Year's Eve, I had a couple of different places that like I could be, which was nice. Just like very chill things. I don't, especially in New York City, like you don't go out here if you're me because it's just a nightmare. But I had a couple of options and I was like, I'm not going to like commit to anything. I'm just going to like go have dinner with friends and then feel like what I want. And I had dinner. I was having a great time and I was like, I think I'm going to go home and like hang with my cats and like watch a movie and just be with me. And so that really felt like it's very symbolic for me and very important for me. And I had a really lovely night. So that's my intention for 2020 is to like hold that space for myself. What about you?
I will tell you, but I want to ask you really quickly what movie did you watch on New Year's Eve?
Well, funnily, so I I went to like find a movie in Netflix and like find what I was going to do. It was like 10:30. And I shuffled around for a little while and I didn't find anything. And then my sister called, which was also like, I didn't want to make it too long of a story, but something that was very moving to me was that I had anticipated like just being me and like the cats, and that was great. And my sister and I text all the time, but we're not big phone people. We rarely FaceTime. She lives in Portland. And she just happened to be home with her fiance, and she's very cute. They like got all dressed up and like had a fancy dinner, just the two of them. And she FaceTimed me sort of like very unexpectedly. So I wound up actually not even watching a movie. I wound up spending some time with my sister and her fiance across the country, which was, again, like just totally unexpected and wouldn't have happened had I been out, so.
Oh, that's so sweet. So in the meantime, I have been doing somewhat the opposite, which is just that I've been trying to like, what I need to work on is like leaving the house more, doing more, being more like in the world. Mm-hmm.
The opposite.
Well, no, I mean, I think a balance of both is what is healthy, and I think maybe you and I were like both unbalanced in that regard, and so I I had this big trip that I did for New Year's, which was really, really fun. And so my countdown for New Year's was like, I was in Edinburgh and I was in the streets of Edinburgh, like right outside Edinburgh Castle. They had like the big fireworks. They had Scotland's New Year's is called Hogmanay. That's how they celebrate New Year's. That's the name of it, and it's a big deal in Edinburgh. I think it's the second biggest New Year's celebration in the world. Number one
Wow.
being New York, and so the city was just packed, and there was just huge like citywide party basically. And so we went out in the streets with our like bottles of champagne. I was there with two friends, and like we did the countdown, and then we did the like singing Old Lang Syne in the street and like dancing, and then like people running up and hugging me. And I've never done that. I've only ever done like an at-home New Year's Eve, like with friends, but like even like it's just always been like, let's hang out and do like a game night, or let's hang out and do like a whatever. And I've never done a like, let's go into the streets and commune with the public sort of New Year's. And that's what I did. It was really fun. I had a great trip. And then, yeah, I've just been like trying to recommit to doing that. So I'm doing something tonight, actually, that I'm really excited to tell you about, Kristin, which is right now here in the Bay Area, it's something's going on called SF Sketchfest, which is this cool comedy festival that I often don't get to go to because I'm busy working. But I'm trying to like live more, work less in 2020. And there's an event tonight called Tilda Swinton answers a Craigslist ad.
Yes,
starring, of course, Tom Lenk from Buffy Vampire Slayer.
Oh my god!
So I'm going with my sister tonight. So I'm really excited.
So exciting! I can't wait to hear all about it. I have not gotten to see that show that Tom does, but I have seen it on Instagram and like all of the things that he does, and he is such a freaking delight. So wow, that's so exciting.
I feel like I would love to hear from our listeners what their 2020 intentions are. One last thing I'm going to port over from my other podcast, The Storm, is that we have a yearly New Year's intention, which, you know, gets reset every year, which is don't fall down. It's a very simple thing. We started a couple of years ago. It's just like, don't fall down 2020, where you just simply try throughout the year to not fall down. I have not made this happen for myself the last 2 years. I've fallen in the same place in the same way 2 years in a row, which is running up my stairs on the hardwood stairs in my socks while carrying coffee. So that is, I fall like when I fell last year, I was like, the same way? No. Anyway, so it's just a fun thing to think about. So don't fall down. 2020 starts.
Oh God, now I'm nervous.
It's a fresh slate. I was telling you, I was talking about this on the other podcast, but like I was in a graveyard in Glasgow called the Necropolis, and like it was covered with like super slippy mud, and there was just really, really strong winds blowing through the Necropolis. And I was like, if I lose Don't Fall Down 2020 because of graveyard mud, I mean, it's a pretty cool story, but I didn't fall down. I like braced my whole body. I was like, you're not going out like this, not this early, Joanna. So, you know.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I'm going to try not to fall down.
Yeah, don't fall down. So how does Angela and the gang, how do they do with their intentions, their 1995 intentions?
Yeah, I love the intention. Like, so the episode starts with this sort of like pan where you pan, you know, basically through everybody's homes or cars or wherever they all are on New Year's Eve. And I just thought, like, I've never been a television writer. I don't think I ever will be a television writer, but this seems like a really fun scene to write because you're really trying to like dig down to the core of each character and like you know, say what you want to say about them. So I thought it was really fun, like the juxtaposition of Sharon and Kyle sitting on the couch next to each other, Sharon being like,
I resolve to never again have sex with Kyle or anyone again unless I really love and respect them.
I don't know, I think that most people set themselves up for failure. What do you think?
Yeah. Patty Patty winds up lying about her intention at some point in this episode, but I also
They
think
both do, Patty and Graham.
Yeah, like I will say, like I wrote down, I was like, Graham's lying, like in an angry way. Then I was like, well, Patty's lying too. But Patty lies, but she, I think, follows through with her resolution. She is,
Yes.
like, you know, supportive of him. So
She does, but I'm like, I'm like starting to go so hard in the direction of Patty that I'm frustrated that this is Patty's resolution for herself, because I'm there for it, but I also feel like she does have a reason to be suspicious. Like there is something happening, and so I feel a little bit wiggly about her resolution being to lighten up overall.
That's fair.
Because
yeah.
Because Graham is hiding something. Like,
Yep.
that's true. And like, you know, you want for them to have a relationship where they can talk about that, where Graham can say, like, I'm feeling complicated. Like, I'm having these long conversations with this person, and I want to bring that to the marriage table and like have that conversation. Or where Patty can say, I'm feeling jealous of Hallie. Like, and they don't have that, which is complicated.
I'm feeling very anti-Graham in this episode.
Yeah.
And very pro Patty generally, but like, so that's their resolution. Angela resolves not to stop overthinking, and then immediately like breaks
Gives
that,
up on
I
it.
guess. Rayanne resolves to stop drinking for real this time. Rickie resolves to find a place where he like can feel actually at home.
Right.
What does Danielle say?
She resolves, her resolution isn't even a resolution. She resolves to badger mom into letting me wear makeup.
Great. Brian resolves to stop obsessing over Angela, which he's a little successful with, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Mr. Katimsky resolves to give up coffee, and it bites him this episode because he is on edge as he's dealing with something very intense. And then Jordan.
Wait a second. Isn't tonight New Year's Eve?
Listen to that crowd.
You know, I know that we just gave Jordan points last episode, but I think that Jordan has a pretty good episode this episode.
This is a great Jordan episode. I think it's a great Jordan episode. Also, sorry to say it, he looks great. This is a great, like, his hair is a really good length. He's working the January beanies, and
that beanie is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. A lot is happening. Yep.
So Rickie's been staying at the Chases. He's been there since we left him from So-Called Angels. And so it's got to be almost a week that he's been staying with them. And he's sort of like not earning his keep because he doesn't have to, but I think that in his mind he does. He doesn't feel comfortable there. He doesn't feel he sort of gives voice to it when he talks to Mr. Katimsky later, right? That he's not feeling like he's feeling lonelier because he's just witnessing this family that loves each other, and he's not really part of it. So he's been tidying up the magazines and making pancakes and listening to what Graham's doing today and all other manner of thing.
So something that, like, on a much like less, I'm not trying to equate this at all, but like, I don't get along well with my family. I haven't been home for like a holiday in like over 5 years, and for a while, like, people, would invite me to like their family holidays, and I actually prefer to just not do that. It feels less upsetting to just like skip it than to like go to someone else's family holiday and like see them be a really like functional family and feel like, oh, what's wrong with me? So like Rickie being like telling Mr. Katimsky like it's almost lonelier to like be around a family that like really loves each other. I really definitely felt that. I think that's a really
and I think
poignant thing.
And I know you're like leaving space for sexuality and race and other factors that are at play for Rickie, but I do think that is a pretty strong parallel that your experience and what he's experiencing. I think that those things line up, and yet again in this house with the overhearing of things.
Okay. So I like this episode a lot, but it's frustrating. This feels like a frustrating like retread of So-Called Angels, in a way. This whole like the way in which Rickie finds himself out of the house, you know what I mean? It's like I almost feel like this. I can feel like the writers' room here, where they're like, oh, they're like, this is the solution. Wait, no, we came up with a better idea. It's to put him with Katimsky. That's a better idea. So like, let's get him there. And like, on the one hand, what's true is that when something like really tough happens in anyone's life, especially a teen's life like this, it's not like a very special episode, a very special Christmas episode is going to like solve a problem forever. You know what I mean? It just feels like the same.
It is the same. It's
setup.
the same, right? He overhears the wrong part of the conversation 2 episodes
Again.
in a row,
Yeah.
and you know, to be real, I think that the story they gave to Rickie stands on its own without him having needed to hear anything to leave. Like, I think that his declaration at the end of like, or not the end, but like later on in the episode where he says, I feel lonelier with them, was enough reason for him to lie and say he was leaving. Like, I don't think he needed to like hear them, overhear them.
Yeah. And I will say, at least for, you know, Graham and Patty, I will say at least they thought he had left the house this time when they were like talking about him in the kitchen. He had walked out, but he had forgotten his copy of the Odyssey. By the way, the same edition of the Odyssey that I owned and read in high school.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I was like, I can't believe you guys are going to do this again. Then I saw that. I was like, oh, okay. At least they thought he was gone this time.
Right.
But yeah,
they've learned the acoustics of their home.
Yes,
maybe
a little bit. Anyway, yeah.
So yeah, the Odyssey. This is I don't even know what number book we're on in the series that sort of overlaps a character's experience. But I read I don't remember. This is going to be a horrible podcasting moment for me because I don't remember where I read this and I don't even remember exactly what it said. But there was something in a description of a maybe the finale or something, and it referenced Rickie's Odyssey, like in the description of the episode that I was reading. And so obviously that's sort of why this is here. Odysseus, right, was on a journey to find or to reunite with his family, to find his family. And Rickie is sort of seeking a very different version of that, but is seeking family, is seeking and this is where my mind starts to extend itself and wonder, like, this show has done such a good job with his storyline. Where would they have taken it? Like, would we have gotten to see Rickie form a chosen family on this show in 1995? I want it so badly.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. I don't know like how many. So like I was trying to count down how many we've had. We've had like we started with the Diary of Anne Frank.
Right.
There's the Shakespeare sonnet. This is something in the show. I love that the show does this, and maybe it's just
too.
because like, you know, I'm an English major or whatever, and I'm like, yes, give me those really deeply obvious literary parallels. I love them. I actually do think though the one upcoming, and we won't talk about it yet, but the one upcoming I think is the most powerful one. But this one works because they don't hit it too hard. You know, Katimsky is just like, what is Odysseus want? And then they don't really like, he doesn't like give a big lecture about it. You know what I mean? It's just sort of like there in the background. But like the thing about the Odyssey, right, is that Odysseus has all these like sort of harrowing stops along the way. So when you see Rickie, like, if you put So-Called Angels in this together and you see all the places that Rickie lands, whether it's like this facility, and by the way, Katimsky, if you're trying to like sell something to Rickie as an okay solution, don't call it a facility.
Don't call it a facility.
Maybe. Anyway, this facility that he stays, and then also the like, you know, the phone booth, you know, like just these stops on his journey. So yeah, but Rickie hears the wrong thing and decides to leave. I have a really superficial detour I want to take.
Please.
I saw this photo that you posted of you and Ingrid to promote this very special conversation that you guys had. And I noticed in that photo that one of you, I think it's you, is wearing a bandana, right?
Yep, it's me. Oh, it's me. Yeah.
And I was really into bandanas in the 90s, and am like kind of still into bandanas, if I'm being honest with you, because I think my hair looks really good in them. But I was really into it. And then like Rickie wears 2 bandanas at least in this episode. And I'm just wondering why were bandanas having such a moment in the 90s?
I don't know where that came. Like, where did it begin? I'm not sure.
I wonder if it's that 30-year reflection thing that we've talked about, where it's like the 90s were kind of obsessed with the 60s, and the 60s were into bandanas. So like,
did they wear them like? Yeah, I guess they did. Because I'm thinking back to like 60s and 70s era sitcoms where like people would wear bandanas.
The Brady's would wear bandanas. But Rickie wears it a little differently and in a way that I more closely associate with gay men. Actually, is just this very like sort of like close tied way that he wears it, and like he's worn a bandana, I believe, like once or twice before, but not quite in this way. And I don't know, between the coat and the bandana, sort of like what they're going for him, just sort of like maybe he's not as on fleek as he has been, maybe, is sort of like the
he I mean they're definitely leaning into the fact that he has not been with his stuff for over a week at this point, and like as at this point in the series he's back kind of on the streets ish, probably not showering, probably not able to like wash his hair as often as he might have before, or like all of like these sorts of things. I think, and they signal that too with like this big coat that he has, although I did have a giant coat like that in the 90s, but he's not. It's such a far cry from where Rickie was before, in terms of like wardrobe and everything else. So Angela, it's literally fucking like January 2nd. And I looked it up to make sure, like, okay, so when was New Year's? Like, what weekday did it fall? Okay, so if they went back to school right after New Year's, it would have been literally January 2nd. She's made it one day of not doing Jordan's homework.
That means they were in school up till like the 23rd, right? And then back in school on the 2nd. Ugh, those poor children.
I hated those years where we didn't get a lot of time off. Jordan is wearing the beanie that you mentioned, which is I underlined best hat ever.
It's so good
because he looks great. He's got like these super wide like jeans on,
his boots,
he's
the jacket, everything looks great. Yeah.
And he's the self-aware one in this scene. All of a sudden, he's just like smoking his cigarette, and he's like, "This is fucking wrong." He didn't say "fucking," but he would if it wasn't a primetime television show. He's like, "This is I feel like I'm using you." He basically does what Sharon attempts and fails to do the whole episode, which is like takes ownership of the fact that like this isn't fair.
Right. And then I mean, let's talk about my favorite couple.
Oh my God, they get maybe their best scene ever in this episode.
They get a lot of time together. Oh well, no, actually, let me rewind really quickly. Sorry, we're getting back into the swing of things. Things are a little all over the place. The beginning, we see the countdown, we see the resolutions, and we see the midnight kiss, and it's like a very sort of famous My So-Called Life moment that's a frequently used GIF, which is Rickie and Rayanne sort of smooching Angela at the same time. And something I remember asking when we started this podcast a couple times was like, what love story are we watching? Whose love story is this? Like what's the most important relationship that we're watching? And there's a bunch of different answers, I think. But I think this idea of like the big kiss at midnight being like between these three friends really emphasizes the possibility that it's these friendships that are the love story of My So-Called Life. However much we might have to say about Jordan Catalano's hat in this episode. So so Rayanne is making out with a guy whose name is...
It's not Bill, and
Phil.
It's not Phil. It is Phil. She thinks it's Bob. She calls him Bill. Who cares?
Who cares? He's wearing her bowler, though. It's great stuff. He's got the Letterman's jacket on and the bowler. And they're making out, and Kyle and Sharon are having a private moment, but in front of Rayanne and Phil. And Kyle, I mean, like, listen, I don't love Kyle. He's like, we've seen him say things like about Rayanne, about, like, I don't know, maybe his reaction to Rickie, that we were like, okay, Kyle's not the most woke of jocks or whatever, but he's pouring his heart out to Sharon. He loves Sharon, and he's not afraid to say it. So,
I developed a new theory. So I watched this episode like twice, fairly close together, because I taped with Ingrid and touched on this a little bit, and then obviously knew we were taping, so I rewatched it. And on my rewatch today, I was like, I wonder if they were... I wonder if the arc of Kyle was going to be that Kyle was also gay.
Yeah.
Right? Because we saw that moment at the dance where he's watching Rickie dance with Delia. And there's a moment at the end of this episode, and we'll get there, but where I was like, interesting.
What a good point. I didn't think about that moment. But yeah, the dance look. That's I like this theory. I love this theory. So we ship Sharon and Rayanne, and we ship Kyle figuring out his sexuality. I don't ship Kyle and Rickie because Rickie can do better. But you know,
when Kyle says "I love you" to Sharon in front of Rayanne, the moment that Rayanne and Sharon share where they look at each other and they laugh is so special. It's really great.
It's a great episode.
Setting us up. I can't even I know we have other scenes to talk about, but I cannot wait to get to gym class with you, Joanna.
It's a very Buffy moment, a very Sunnydale High moment. But before we get there, we have to get to Hallie and Graham, which really bums me out. And so this is something that we've been sort of avoiding talking about because I don't know how explicit they made this danger in earlier episodes, but it becomes very clear here how dangerous the Hallie Graham business partnership / mentorship / friendship is. What I think is interesting, and this is skipping ahead a little bit, what I think is interesting is I feel like the moment where Patty is the most concerned is when he hasn't talked to Neil about it.
Yes.
Which is fascinating to me. We don't like Neil, but this is a very interesting dynamic to me, you know?
Well, and that's knowing she knows Graham, and she, and she totally reads that situation exactly.
Yeah.
That I do think that he has not talked to Neil at all, but in her mind, she's probably either he hasn't talked to Neil or he has talked to Neil. And either one of those two things is playing out where Neil is, I don't know. Who do you mean?
Right.
What?
Right.
I thought that was a good use of Neil.
Yeah.
Not to spoil anything, but there will be other uses of Neil that I will not be as much here for.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Patty, by the way, when Graham comes home, Patty's doing needlepoint. This is
my God. It's beautiful too.
It's gorgeous.
Right.
Yeah.
I wrote Patty's crafting. And this is the scene where, Graham comes in. He says, I told her I wasn't doing the restaurant. And in this middle of this exchange, Rickie comes down with his bag and is like, I'm leaving. Everything's fine. I talk to my family and it's great. Everything's good. And they have this it's almost choreography where Rickie goes to step through them in between Graham and Patty, and they both put a hand on his shoulder, and then the camera angle shifts so that we're on the other side. But they physically try to stop him, wait for a second, what do you mean? But Rickie is resolved to go, and he leaves, and they're very justifiably incredibly concerned.
Well, they're concerned, but it's frustrating that they don't stop him, especially after what we've learned last episode. So they kind of try, but they don't try hard enough. But what makes that better for me is that the fact that they get yelled at about that later. So, the episode doesn't let them off the hook, but it's frustrating to me because I'm didn't we already kind of go through this? This? Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But it's also, I have an understanding too of the fact that they don't want to cross lines with Rickie that they shouldn't be crossing. And I think that they're not well versed in this. They don't know the best way at it. And I think probably the thing they should be on the hook for the most is not following up. Maybe not not holding him there that instant, but not immediately trying to do outreach to find out where this family is, to make sure that he's okay or whatever. I think that's the part where they really drop the ball.
Yeah. I think that's right. But fortunately for you and for me, on the heels of this disappointing scene, is the greatest scene of the episode, I think, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, we get, before we get to the great, I mean, I'm with you. I want to get there too. But before we get there, there's one more kind of like little double scene where Rickie's asleep in the classroom. And he lies about not having his essay because Danielle was sick. And it's sort of like this exchange where Mr. Katimsky is really putting 2 and 2 together, I think, with what Rickie presents and what Angela actually tells him.
What I think is interesting about this episode, a number of things are interesting, but what I think is interesting, the first time I rewatched this, which was a little while ago, I had forgotten sort of everything that happens, and I was just so frustrated with Katimsky because I'm like, why aren't you, like, what is your obstacle here? Why aren't you doing a better job being helpful? You obviously, like, what's going on, but you're not doing everything you can be doing to be helpful here, as far as I'm concerned. And then we get this reveal in the end of this other conflict for him. Not that I didn't know that the Katimsky character was gay, because I did. I just forgot that, like, how concerned he was about like what taking Rickie in. Not that every teacher who sees a child in need needs to like adopt them or whatever, but like, that was acting as an obstacle for him. And I think that's well done. I don't know if you agree with that, but
I do. And I also, like, I knew that he was gay, and I knew that we like found that out, but I actually did not remember that he gave voice to the fact that he was afraid to extend himself more to Rickie because he was worried about getting fired or how it would look or anything like that. And I thought that was really powerful and done really well. I noticed something in this viewing that I didn't notice before, because they don't like hit it over the head too hard. It's just like, you pan out, you see that there's another man that lives at his house with him, that they live together, they're having dinner together, and they also give him the same line as they gave Patty, which is, it's a question, not a criticism. And I just thought it was really fucking cool that like that was this little tiny thread that was like, see, relationship, right? Like these are the things that happen in relationships, to give us sort of the intimacy between the two of them, because it's the same thing that Patty says to Graham when Graham thinks that, Patty's criticizing him.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies just to see if you could save some cash? Well, Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
There are names that echo in the world of true crime. Names that carry unanswered questions. Oakley Carlson, a 5-year-old girl who deserved safety, protection, and love. Yet the system built to protect her failed, and Oakley disappeared. Her community still calls her name.
Or Ellen Greenberg, found in her locked apartment with 20 stab wounds. A case declared a suicide. But how does a locked apartment tell 2 different stories at once?
These are not just cases we have covered. They are people. They were loved, and they mattered.
Their stories deserve to be told with care, with depth, with truth.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Rickie.
We are the husband and wife duo behind Crime Salad.
Every week we uncover stories of the missing, the silence, the misunderstood. We ask the questions that were left behind. We refuse to let these stories be forgotten.
Because behind every case is a family holding on, a community seeking answers, and a story that deserves to be heard.
We invite you to listen to Crime Salad,
your healthy portion of true crime, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Tom.
So big news to share, right?
Yes, huge, monumental, earth-shaking.
Heartbeat sound effect big. Meat is back.
That's right. After a brief snack nap.
We're coming back. We're picking snacks.
We're eating snacks.
We're rating snacks.
Like the snackologists we were born to be.
Meat is back.
Mike and Tom eat snacks.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Unless you get them from a snack machine, in which case, call us.
Call us.
Anyhow, one thing I want to say, because this is at the end of this scene with Mr. Katimsky and Angela. Angela asks about, somebody who needs help with English. And this is where Mr. Katimsky's like, oh, yeah, you can sign up for tutoring right here. Angela, of course, signs Jordan up for tutoring. And I wrote down in my notes, oh, my God, this is exactly what Patty did with Graham and the cooking class. Like, she literally.
I love that. I hadn't thought about that.
Yes. So she signs him up and it works out. It works out just like it worked out for Patty. I don't know if that is like necessarily a universal truth, but I thought it was very funny.
A little mini Patty moment. Love it.
Okay. Now we're here, Joanna.
Now we're here in gym class. Where like Rayanne showed up and Sharon's like, literally, what are you even doing here? Which is so funny because like before, like recently, I think it was the Christmas episode where Sharon was like, literally, do you ever go to class when she's like in the bathroom? So anyway, she's like, what are you doing here in gym class? And obviously we know Rayanne came to gym class so she could like have an excuse to touch Sharon while they're doing their like sit-up unit. But yeah, so here we go. We got Sharon and Rayanne talking about sex in gym class. So
yeah, and so there's like a lot of things happening in the conversation. I think like the most obvious one and one that I love about this show is its sex positivity, right? That like basically one of the things that Sharon and Rayanne are exchanging is that sex doesn't have to come with love. Like if you don't want it to, it can be fun and it can be fun either way. And it's all about like what you want. And then Sharon's, of course, adds in an important caveat, which is, well, yeah, sure, but it should probably be that way for both people. And it shouldn't be that like one person is in love and the other person isn't, because that feels wrong. And I think that's just like, it's just a really powerful conversation to see on television between two teenagers, even now, but especially at this time.
Yeah, I definitely wrote sex positivity in all caps next to the scene. But yeah, this idea that like it's better for Sharon, the sex is better for her now that she like doesn't care about Kyle.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And then is Sharon talking here about A River Runs Through It? Or?
Oh yes. All
right. And Brad Pitt. So what, Kristin, now
I have a lot to say about Brad Pitt.
Now is the time on the podcast where I like to do an Ask a Gay moment and say, hey, Kristin Russo, famed gay person, what are your feelings on Brad Pitt? Does he transcend gayness?
I thought that this is a brilliant fucking choice as the resident gay here at the Boiler Room, because at this exact time when A River Runs Through It was out, I went through probably the biggest obsessive phase I've ever gone through with any celebrity in my life. And it was Brad Pitt. And I had a small wall that was like in between my closet and my door. Not terribly small, but it wasn't like a full length wall. Let's say it's 2.5 to 3 feet wide. Floor to ceiling, just Brad Pitt.
What?
And the centerpiece was a full movie poster of A River Runs Through It.
Wow.
Yeah, I was up because Brad Pitt was a beautiful, beautiful man with long flowing hair and like pouty lips. I mean, he was like the closest I could get to being attracted to a woman without being attracted to a woman, like in my misunderstanding mind. Like I didn't know that that's what was happening, but certainly looking back on it, it was. So the fact that Brad Pitt is the cornerstone of this conversation it's in the vault.
Was it A River Runs Through It that you had, or was it Legends of the Fall?
Oh,
Legends of the Fall is the one where he had like long hair. That an Interview with a Vampire.
No, he didn't. He didn't have long hair in the poster.
Okay.
Because River Runs Through It is correctly sum it up. It's the one with the fishing. Right?
It's the fly fishing movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing the movies that we watched for Brad Pitt back in the day.
God.
So here's the deal. Like Brad Pitt back in the day had his power, but like I was such like a snooty teenager that I was like, he's so obvious. Like I refuse to like be like, no, I don't. Brad Pitt's too obvious, blah, blah. But I'll tell you now, I love Brad Pitt. Like, I love Brad Pitt because I love him because he is a very handsome man who has like who's done an incredible amount of good with his clout in Hollywood in terms of what he's decided to produce. And he's just like kind of been this like very handsome man who like wanted to be a character actor but was like too handsome to be a character actor. So I'm a big fan of Brad Pitt. I got so excited when he won the Golden Globe. I'm really excited because I hope he wins the Oscar. I think he's great in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, even if he does take his shirt off in that movie, which is a little like old school Brad Pitt obvious. But like I'm a big Brad fan. So I'm happy that like we are talking about him this many years later. Like that's some like endurance. He's on the verge of winning his first Oscar. Wow. Everyone's talking about Brad Pitt right now, and they were talking about him then. So good job, Brad.
And 95 was really a massive year for 94, 95 was a massive year for Brad.
Love it. You love to see it. You love to see it. So Sharon, Rayanne, Brad Pitt, what more could anyone ask for?
Seriously, I can ask for literally no more. Yeah. Okay, so we leave these two to their gym class sit-ups. We go to like a very brief scene between Hallie and Graham where he's seeing the restaurant for the first time, and it begins the like, Brad has this theory. I think she says it like 17 times in the episode. You're going to cave at the last minute, blah, 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 blah. And this is the scene that you mentioned, Joanna, where Patty realizes that something is up based on Neil's lack of knowledge about Hallie.
Right, because we open the series with Graham confessing to Neil like how he's his like temptation by another woman. And so I almost feel like him not mentioning Hallie either yet to Neil or at all to Neil makes it an even more dangerous temptation. Like one he will not even like, speak of. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yep.
Totally. So Patty takes her beer upstairs, and fucking Graham is like, what did you say to her?
Love it. Also, I will, not my fave Graham episode, not a big fan of what he's up to. He looks great in this scene. He walks in, he's got his overcoat on, the collar's up. He, turns to look at his, brother, and Neil does not have good hair. He's got this, long perm thing or whatever. And I'm like, man, if I were Neil, I'd hate Graham. Graham got all the handsome brother genes, but he's like, what did you do? Loved it. Neil's like, what did you do, motherfucker? Anyway, so.
Oh my God. Okay. So fucking if you ask me to list, I don't know, 5 memories from the series, one of them would be Jordan Catalano calling Brian Brain.
It's not just Brain. It's Brain Krakow.
Yeah.
He couldn't get either one right. It's pretty great. Yeah.
Are you Brain? I love it so much. So these two have been, and this is another moment of me being like, fuck, where were they going to take this? I would have loved some additional Brian, Jordan. Where were those two going to go together? I would have loved to see more. And we will see in 4 episodes. 3 episodes.
And I mentioned this when we started this, when I realized that Jason Katims, who created the TV series Friday Night Lights, or show ran it, was a writer on the show, that this is a dynamic we see play out on Friday Night Lights with Tim Riggins and Landry, this exact pretty much scenario of trading girl advice for academic advice or whatever. But here it is. Brain. Angela laughing at Brian having to tutor Jordan is pretty classic. It's all pretty good.
Yeah, Angela has a lot of layers of feeling. She's like, this is hilarious, and also I don't know how I feel about this.
I will say, as much, we'll get there, but as much as Angela is a background-ish character in this episode, she has maybe my favorite Angela Chase moment of the entire series in this episode. So
I know what you're talking about, and when we get there, Joanna, I'm playing the actual clip because it's so good.
It's so good.
Okay, so We go through this very brief. I got a good chuckle because I'm a theater kid.
Yes, me too.
Right? Everybody's screaming at each other in the theater class. I was like, yep, that's literally exactly what we did. But this scene then obviously takes a turn. This is like dramatic. Rickie's family just moved.
Yeah.
It's just devastating, and Wilson Cruz, his acting in this scene where he finds out and he puts his head on the payphone and he like sort of like walks around the corner without answering Mr. Katimsky, who's like Enrique, and just walks away. It's just gutting, and it's so dramatic. It's not even like his family won't take him back in. They straight up left.
Yeah. I mean, we did not think these were good people to begin with, given how they've treated Rickie, but like,
Right.
yeah, this is a new level.
The next morning, Rickie goes in to talk to Mr. Katimsky. That donut looks so good. Like I don't know what it is about that donut, but every time that Rickie takes a bite out of it, I'm like, yes. But he eats it obviously because he hasn't eaten, he hasn't slept, he hasn't showered, he's in the throes of it, and he has this conversation with Mr. Katimsky that is important in many ways.
Right now it's sort of like it's sort of like I don't have a place to live.
What happened?
But I mean, it's okay. It's actually gonna be fine. I was staying at my friend Angela's house for a while. And they're really nice. They're this really great family. But in a way that made me feel lonelier. And I know that sounds ungrateful.
No, I understand.
It's a really powerful scene and a powerful work, I think, from obviously from both of them, but I think Jeff Perry really playing this like as Mr. Katimsky playing this like recognition, you know what I mean? This under the radar recognition, I think is really really strong stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And there's what he's giving to Rickie and what he has given to Rickie, though it wasn't everything he wanted to be able to give to Rickie out of the gates, was enough for him to be the first person that Rickie says, I don't have a place to go.
Yeah.
And that's like a pretty massive measure of trust. And unfortunately, I wish it went a little bit better out of the gates between Mr. Katimsky. And then, we get, of course, Winnie Holtzman again as our counselor. There's a few things that happen in this scene that like made my eyebrows raise. One is that Kathy is like, there's a great place. It's called Pride House, and we might need to put you on the waiting list, but I think it would be a really great fit. Which, like, I think the intentionality is great, but to our knowledge, Rickie has not come out in any way, shape, or form. And I imagine that she's saying Pride House because it's like an LGBTQ resource. And so I think it's wonderful and also maybe a little bit inappropriate if Rickie hasn't come out yet, because you don't want to like assume something about a young person, especially when they're in a really vulnerable state. So that just gave me pause for a moment.
Yeah, it's I that literally hadn't even occurred to me on that. You're right. You're absolutely right about that.
Resident gay, Kristin Russo.
Not just here to talk about Brad Pitt, as it turns out. I mean, all of this that they decided to really want to confront in 1995 is fascinating to me. So.
Yeah. And that they didn't, like, we talked about So-Called Angels. Like, it wasn't like a very special episode, but it had like these really deep themes. And I think that one of many things that makes this show so powerful is that they didn't make it one episode, right? Like, Rickie's story continues. It doesn't just like start and happen and resolve by the end, because that's not the way that it would happen if you're interfacing with a young person who's struggling with their sexuality and their gender and homelessness and violence. It's an ongoing thing. And so the fact that we roll into the new year and Rickie is still not okay, I think is really important, and differentiates this show from the other shows that were happening at the time and their treatment of queer characters, if we even got those at all. So Rickie, I mean, maybe to follow through to the end of this scene, basically we learn that like he's not going to be going there tonight, and so there's going to be this alternate solution, which winds up being this facility that is really hard to witness. Like pillows without pillowcases, beds upon beds upon beds. It feels unsafe for Rickie, which is, again, like, I can speak as somebody who's done work with queer youth, like a huge issue with anything regarding homelessness or imprisonment or anything like this is like, if you're putting Rickie with the boys, that is also a danger to Rickie because Rickie's not going to be safe necessarily in an environment where there's a bunch of like teenage boys who are straight or gender conforming or what have you, like that isn't necessarily a great solution for him. But like Kathy says, it's not a perfect system. And so he winds up in this place that feels pretty unsafe for him.
Yeah. And we feel that, like, the way that it's shot and the way that this is all acted, it's just it's about the relative safety of the Chase household, the warm nest of the Chase household for Angela, and how close Rickie is at any moment from being in a really unsafe position.
Yeah.
Something that bothers me in this episode, actually, another thing that bothers me is that beyond New Year's Eve, where they don't even really talk to each other, we don't get a Rayanne and Rickie scene in this episode. And I find that frustrating because as much as I love Rayanne and Sharon, like I think that Rayanne would have been more... I know that there are times in which Rayanne is not a great friend, but I think we hear it, Angela's like, oh, Rayanne thinks my mom kicked you out or whatever. So like we know that Rayanne is worried about Rickie, but like I feel like at this point she would have been slightly more interventionist than she was in the last time we saw her, being like, just let him do what he's got to do, sort of thing.
Right.
So.
And like that he would be probably staying on Amba's couch at this point or whatever. And I agree, the line that Angela has that you just referenced felt weird to me. Like, and it makes me think, I wonder if there was a scene that got cut or something, because it's such a bizarre thing that like that's the dialogue that they have. So I don't know, and maybe we'll never know, but I agree. It's weird that we don't see that
once
interaction.
Again, it feels like an inauthentic way to make Mr. Katimsky be like Rickie's only lifeline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The same way in which I think like Graham and Patty letting him go, feels the same way to me. And so like, I like the end result. I like this connection between Katimsky and Rickie. I think that is a good thing to explore. I think they just sort of like, got there in a slightly sloppy way, but that once again, that might have been a function of, 19 is a weird number of episodes. So I need to dig into this a little bit, but like, I don't know why they got 19 instead of 22. And so if they were sort of rushing to complete some things, in these final 4 episodes after the holiday hiatus or something.
Right. So Brian tries to get Sharon to take his tutoring shift, and it gives us a couple of things in this scene. One is Sharon sort of unleashing all of her guilt on a fairly confused Brian, and B, this bear that Kyle gives to Sharon that says, I love you very much, which is special.
It's very Kyle. But yeah, Sharon talking past Brian and like talking about like using people and stuff like that is pretty solid. So yeah.
Okay, so the tutoring scene is a delight, like a sheer delight. I feel like there's something really wonderful about the different kind of smarts that these two have. And you make a very good point that this is like a totally Landry, Tim Riggins dynamic. But it's just really great because they're having an even trade. You know, they each have something that the other one needs and wants. And they're both in on it too. And the way that they laugh together, Brian and Jordan, I don't know. I find it very endearing.
I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, even if like Jordan's a little bit of a creep for being like she would sleep with you or whatever, but I do love like that. Jordan gets the number, and then Brian's just like, "You do this? This is how you live?" And it's just like
gobsmacked. Yeah.
And I feel the same way I know like that there are people who go through life, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, what? You just do that, and that's easy for you? Okay.
Do you think that Jordan asked that girl for her number, or do you think that he asked her for her number for Brian?
I think he just asked her for her number.
Yeah.
And then just like tossed it over to Brian like it was nothing. Anyway.
So I know it's like fairly unlike me to get such pleasure from watching two dudes like
right.
essentially, objectify a woman. I'm sorry, I apologize. It's rooted deep in my psyche, but there's just something I think very endearing about Brian's amazement at it. You know, like that.
Right.
That's really what gets me, and Jordan's amusement at like the fact that this kid who's his tutor, who's really smart, is like not smart in this other way. Like that's the dynamic that is great. That I think is great anyway.
And then
let's just in comes Angela while they're laughing, and she's immediately feeling threatened a bit because she's like, what are these two fucking laughing about together without me around? And then let's play the scene.
Look, if this is weird for you, being tutored, I don't mind helping you a little longer.
It's not so weird.
Oh, so good.
You could have sex with me, though, if you really want to help.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I guess that's a no.
I'll let you get back to your work.
The laugh? Her laugh.
It's not just her laugh, which is great. It's great. But it's also Jordan's reaction, because like we've just watched Jordan be like Brian be like, oh my God, here's the smoothest dude on the planet. And Jordan's like more so than, because when Angela rejected Jordan before, like sexually or whatever, like we had our weird judgments about Jordan. It was all very much more emotional, blah, blah.
Yeah.
This is played for laughs, which is like funny. And Jordan is just like, well, I guess that's a no. Like he's thrown off by it's great.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's like, this is the first time I feel like Angela truly has the upper hand on Jordan.
Yeah.
Even though she herself is like flustered by the whole situation. It's just, I love it. I can't even like put it in a box. I just love it so much, this interaction. So.
It's so good. And it's like, it's an incredible moment of acting for both Jared Leto and Claire Danes. And like, this is like, it's the moments like these that I feel like were the little seedlings of like, and you will have a career for the rest of your life, Claire Danes, because who acts this scene this well? Like it's like, it really genuinely feels like you're just catching an actual moment in life. There's no way that somebody could do this so genuinely. And I just love it. I love it so much. Okay. So a few things happen. We already talked about Mr. Katimsky telling Rickie that he has to go to this facility. It's surprising to me that Rickie goes in the first place, to be honest with you. Every time I watch this episode, I always think he's not going to go. And I'm like, oh yeah, he does actually go. And then he leaves.
We also get Katimsky yelling. Well, this is the one like good Graham moment, I think, in the episode. Like,
yes.
Katimsky comes in hot. He sends the kids away, is yelling at Patty, and Patty starts like crying. Graham's like, I'm sorry, excuse me, who are you? Like, why are you making my wife cry in my house? What's happening? But then they're also like, oh, fuck, we fucked up. You know what I mean? And then like Katimsky apologizes, but I think that was an important, you know, for as much as I look askance at sort of the way in which this episode starts for Patty and Graham in terms of that decision and whether or not it feels like something that they would truly do, at least the episode just like is like, how could you be so stupid? It's like, because it was a very stupid thing that they did. So
totally. Kyle gives Sharon her bear back that he has found in the urinal. Why? Why are we touching
I want
this
to know
bear?
the journey of the bear. How did the bear get to, like hanging? And then I love that Kyle's just like, oh, must have gotten mislaid. You know, he's not like, how could you put Barry in the urinal or whatever. He's just like, and I think it's wet. He's like holding it by the
It's
ribbon.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Don't, Kyle, wash your hands and throw that bear away, please. So this is the moment that I was like, oh my God, Kyle is gay. He's like, maybe I should come over. And this is the moment when Sharon's supposed to say, like, actually, Kyle, I don't have feelings for you. And I don't think it's a good idea for us to see each other anymore. But Kyle's like, I rented this movie with it's like, there's two babes, but they're like really old babes. Which is fucking Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis, who are like probably 30, if that, in this movie.
Yeah, Gina Davis in 1995 with like a word. Thank you very much. Anyway.
Agree. And you know, Brad Pitt's in it, and he's like not wearing a shirt, and he's wearing a cowboy hat, and I'm like, whoa, Kyle, like. So you've either watched the trailer for this film or you've seen it already, and it's done something for you, and you've very clearly underlined Brad Pitt's presence in the movie in a way that you did not underline Gina Davis's presence in the movie or Susan Sarandon's. So I just was like, oh my God, I think that they both want Brad Pitt. And I like, as much as I don't want Kyle to be used, I'm really here for a heterosexual couple both being attracted to Brad Pitt and having sex while thinking both about Brad Pitt. Like, I am so here for that.
And Brad Pitt, if you haven't like Googled Brad Pitt and Thelma and Louise in a while, just like do yourself a solid, because
that is peak. That's if I had to pick any Brad Pitt, it would be the Brad Pitt from Thelma and Louise. Hands down. And I've done a lot of research on this in the 90s. So.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't seen recent Brad Pitt, but in terms of 90s Brad Pitt, that's it.
Which Brad Pitt do I pick?
My second runner up is when Brad Pitt cries and a river runs through it.
Oh wow. I think it's when Brad Pitt cries in Legends of the Fall. Maybe
I did switch them in the crying, because is it like he's like really crying?
He's really crying in Legends of the Fall. Yeah, absolutely. I actually think so it has to be 90s Brad Pitt. Is that what I'm picking?
I think if current Brad has ousted 90s Brad, that's fair.
I actually think my favorite Brad I think is actually Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Brad.
Oh my God.
Because he's like action Brad and comedy Brad and romance Brad all together. Or Ocean's 11, because he's just great in Ocean's 11. 7 Brad is great. 12 Monkeys Brad is great.
Oh my God.
It's just like hard to pick a Brad.
The amount, like I literally saw so many of those movies in the theater, like just for Brad. I didn't even care what the fucking movie was about.
Anyway, Brad Pitt, what a great actor and guy generally. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Patty and Graham?
So yes, we're in the kitchen with Patty and Graham. And this is, Patty thinks that Graham is going to say, I'm having an affair. And he says, I have something to tell you. It's been really hard for me to say this. I want to open the restaurant. And Patty exhales. It's like the exhale heard round the world. Yeah. And she's like in more support of the restaurant than she's ever been, because she's so relieved that what he had to say was not, I'm having an affair. And this is great acting too. Her face, you can just like see her being like, this is the moment when my life changes. It's happening right now. It's about to happen.
Let's just wrap up. Can we just wrap up the Graham thing before we get to Rickie's end here, because it's a rainy night. We know this because of Rickie's storyline too, but like Hallie Lowenthal is like wet in the like restaurant where they're like going to meet at night so he can tell her that he's in or whatever. And we find out that, like, speaking of Brads, like she has broken up with her Brad. So she is wet and available. And Graham's like, oh boy. So that's where we are on the Howie Lowenthal front.
And you know, you can never say he didn't know that what he was doing is wrong, because it is written all over his fucking face in that last scene.
Yep.
Everything that she says, it pans to his face, and he's like, you should leave. You should miss this, just like you've missed both Woodstocks. Like, just fucking go, man. So Brian and Jordan have another little thing. He's like, I'll tell you how to get somebody's number, but first you got to teach me about the Odyssey.
Teach me some stuff. Thank you.
Right. So you mentioned that Rickie is also in the rain, in a phone booth. This is awful. He calls me, and this is the moment when you want Mr. Katimsky to say, you need to come to my house right now.
Right.
Like, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to do something.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. And you learn immediately why he doesn't, which is good that we learn immediately, because I would have been upset with Mr. Katimsky until I learned why. But we learned that he is, and we talked about this, right? That he is not only gay, but he is not open about his sexuality at school. His partner says to him at the end of this scene, don't hate yourself, which is the message that he's been trying to convey to Rickie this whole time, which I think is really impactful. And that he's afraid that sort of like associating too much with Rickie will look bad. And this is a thing now in 2020. So it's not like this has just been wiped away. But I do think that in 95, this is even more a presence for teachers who were LGBTQ. They were not out at work. There's a huge line drawn between gay men and pedophilia. Like all of these awful stereotypes were so present, and that's not to say that they're gone now, but I think that this is done really well, and I've spoken to it a bit, but yeah, that's where we are.
And then we get the companion to the scene, which is that Rickie shows up, he having like looked up Mr. Katimsky's like address in the phone book, and it's just sort of like,
I'm sorry. It just got so hard to be alone.
Whoa, woof.
Oh God.
You know.
And he sort of falls into Mr. Katimsky's arms and is welcomed in, and you see sort of like as the door closes, you see Mr. Katimsky's partner like offer his hand, you know, and introduce, I'm sure, himself. And I don't know if there's any symbolism on the door number being 3, but we've talked a bit about like Brian's shirt having the 3 and that connecting to It's a Wonderful Life. So I did see that it was a 3. I don't know if it was on purpose. But yeah, so a lot happened in this episode, but we finished it, which means now you have to have your best use of flannel.
It's true. It's true.
My jaw is on the floor. That flannel is divine. It's so fucking special. The best use of flannel of this episode.
This is my stretch, maybe, for best use of flannel.
Ooh.
But I'm gonna. A new player has entered the game. It is Mr. Katimsky, and he is wearing. He's got a few dad plaids throughout this episode, but he concludes the episode in a dad plaid that is underneath a sweater that is checked in a way that I am going to qualify as plaid. So my best use of flannel, which, as you all know, we also use to mean plaid, is Mr. Katimsky's dad plaid under a dad sweater. So there we go. Double dad.
Great. I had a lot of hemming and hawing to do in this episode. I would like to give shout outs to some nominees that didn't make the cut. Jordan Catalano, I'm sure he's worn flannel before, but this was a great flannel he wore about mid-episode. Beautiful, like ringing in 95 with his new flannel. So didn't win for me, but up there. The second shout out I want to give before I get to my winner is that I mentioned that the Chase Kitchen, they their booth, the kitchen booth, is plaid. I noticed in this episode, Joanna, that the curtains in the kitchen are the same plaid as the booth. They are made. So
made
Patty,
both of
crafting Patty, covered those cushions and made those fucking curtains. So, but I gave the winning slot to the plaid couch, not in the Chase household, but the plaid couch that Sharon Shersky had fantastic emotionless sex on New Year's Eve.
Love it. Oh my God, I'm looking at it right now. It's like a green and cream situation. Wow. Great.
I also have a haiku. I have a haiku for you.
Oh, yes. Hit me.
The first haiku of 2020 from Kate is, Mr. Katimsky is everything. I love him and his partner so much. So we obviously agree with you, Kate. And thank you for that haiku. We only have 3 left, so yikes.
Oh, no. Well, we did it. Did we do it?
I think we did it. I think this was a very good episode. It's really fun to be doing these episodes in real time since we just got to begin a new year along with the whole cast of My So-Called Life. And, we'll be back next week with an episode called Betrayal. I'm not looking forward to it.
Yikes. Yikes.
Right. And also I am Kristin Russo. And if you want to learn more about me, you can at KristinNoline.com. I also do a podcast about Buffy the Vampire Slayer over at Buffering Cast. It's called Buffering the Vampire Slayer. And we also came back last week after a little bit of a break.
I'm Joanna Robinson. You can find me on the Storm podcast or Little Gold Men if you're at all interested in award season. Now is the time. 'Tis the season where we are awardsing over on Little Gold Men on Vanity Fair. Also for the Still Watching podcast, we'll be covering the new HBO series The Outsider, which is a Stephen King sort of murder procedural thing happening over on HBO. So Richard Lawson and I will be covering that. You can find us there. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Wrote This. Should we do it?
Yeah, that's exciting, Joanna, because I've been seeing the previews for The Outsider, and my interest is very piqued. So,
Ooh, piqued! Love it.
Yes.
Love
And us before we exit the episode, you can find us, of course, at Boiler Room Cast. You can write us emails at boilerroomcast@gmail.com.
Excellent. Well, we are gonna try it. This is 1995, or no, sorry, it's 2020, and it's a new leaf for you and I to get completely in sync.
Yep.
With our outro. Are you ready?
I'm sure it's gonna work 100%. Don't fall down.
Don't fall down 2020. And on your way to not falling down, I want you to go. Now. Go. Okay. Well, all right. We tried. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Here it comes in 10 seconds.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
From the darkest corners of our imagination comes a game show that's more ridiculous than terrifying. Welcome to Tickled to Death, the horror comedy game show where nothing is sacred, everything's a little unhinged, and the only thing more cursed than the questions are the jokes. I'm Roz Hernandez, your fearless host, and each week I'll be leading a brave group of guests through twisted horror trivia, improv games, and enough sarcastic banter to make you question all your life's choices. So come for the screams, stay for the snark. Listen to Tickled to Death wherever you get your podcasts, and hit follow unless you want the show to follow you. In the meantime, don't get tickled to death.
Oh, the Regency era. You might know it as the time when Bridgerton takes place, or the time when Jane Austen wrote her books. But the Regency era was also an explosive time of social change, sex scandals, and maybe the worst king in British history. And on the Vulgar History podcast, we're going to be looking at the balls, the gowns, and all the scandal of the Regency era. Vulgar History is a women's history podcast, and our Regency era series will be focusing on the most rebellious women of this time. That includes Jane Austen herself, who is maybe more radical than you might have thought. We'll also be talking about queer icons like Anne Lister, scientists like Mary Anning and Ada Lovelace, as well as other scandalous actresses, royal mistresses, rebellious princesses, and other lesser-known figures who made history happen in England in the Regency era. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get podcasts.